But the people of Idaho, beware and pay close attention to your mailbox, because the state of Idaho has a very important jury to pick. It is the jury that will decide Bryan Kohberger's his case in the allegations that he murdered 4 innocent University of Idaho students who were sleeping in their beds, or they'll decide if he didn't do it. And if folks in Idaho think, I don't live in that county, this is not my issue, think again. Because this week, the judge in Kohberger's case, his name is John Judge, he's hearing arguments to move the trial away from that university. Kohberger's lawyers are worried that folks in Latah County are frothing at the mouth over their client, and that he can't possibly get a fair trial anywhere near the university. They are not coming out of nowhere on this one, though, honestly, because they sent out a survey, and some of the answers they got back, well, let's just say they were worthy of a court hearing. One resident said, quote, they'd burn the courthouse down if he were found not guilty. And another one said they'd probably find him and kill him. And then still another one said there would likely be a riot, and he wouldn't last long outside because someone would do the good old boy justice, end quote. Kohberger's lawyers are suggesting that maybe Ada County, where Boise is located, maybe that would be a better fit. That's where Lori Vallow was tried. But the state prosecutors are saying, look, the media coverage is so widespread, you could send them to Mars and still find angry people in the jury pool. Those are my words. State says a venue change would just add more and more delays to an already agonizingly long process for the victims' family members. So who's right? When a defendant is so high profile, how hard is it to find an unbiased juror near the scene of a horrendous crime? Let's ask one. Tom Evans was one of the 18 Idaho jurors picked to hear Lori Vallow's triple murder case. He sat in that courtroom for 6 weeks. He listened to the testimony along with his fellow jurors. He even wrote a book about it called Money, Power, and Sex, the Lori Vallow Daybell Trial by Juror Number 18. And Tom is with me live. Thanks for joining me, Tom. Are you following the Kohberger case in Latah County?
Not closely, but it's kind of hard to avoid it.
Exactly the point of talking to you. It's kind of hard to avoid it, even if you're in the Boise area. I guess the question is, now that you've been involved in the process of a very high-profile case and jury selection, do you think that Bryan Kohberger's attorneys have a point that they do need to move away from that very heated area of the University of Idaho?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to find an impartial jury with jurors who don't know about the trial anywhere in Idaho. So at that point, you have to just depend on their ability to be impartial.
And does that change? I mean, does the ability to remain impartial change the further away you get in the radius?
Well, I think at least they might get away from the angry mobs. It's 300 miles from Moscow to Boise, so that might make a little bit of a difference.
Makes it a long, long drive for the family members of these victims, and for that, you know, it's. I'm not sure if the judge will take it into account, but I kind of hope the judge will. Can I ask you about Lori's case? That was not a venue change. Like, that happened in the vicinity of the crime. Do you, having been part of that panel, do you think it should have been moved, or was everything perfectly fine right where it was?
Actually, that case was moved. It was the crimes happened in Fremont County, which is eastern Idaho, and the trial was in Boise.
Right. No, you're right. That's right, and I get that mixed up because they were housing Chad and Lori separately in 2 different counties. And did that make a difference? Do you think that made a difference?
I don't think it made any difference. I think it's hard to find a jury that doesn't know what's happening in such a high-profile case as that one. I think it just comes down to finding individuals who are able to be objective and listen to the evidence and go on that.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.